Welcome to Barebow Hunter Podcast with your host, Nate Bailey, where we look to the ancient paths of our hunting ancestors to guide our future, where woodsmanship and hard work outweigh advanced shooting devices, where we value those who have gone before us and welcome those who are yet to come. Join us as we exchange valuable insight about the barebow hunter's lifestyle. Hey guys, if you get anything out of these podcasts, you could help support us by going over to our websites, the Life Outdoors, that's with a Z at the end, .com, and barebowhunter.com. On them, we provide some merchandise. We have shirts, hats, and mugs and things like that. And we also are bringing on a new soap called Backcountry Bar. It is completely biodegradable, and it's a really good soap. If you like, some of the newer soaps that are out there, this is kind of hunter-oriented soap, and you'll love it. It's got a burr scent, and it lathers really well. And again, it's biodegradable, all natural. There's even the coloring is spinach and charcoal, so they're even natural. So if you want to support us, go over, check it out. And now let's get on with today's show. Welcome to another edition of Barebow Hunter Podcast and the Life Outdoors. And today we have with us Brandon Todd. And Brandon Todd on Instagram, you go by Making Traditional, right?
That's right, yeah.
And if you guys have not checked out his Instagram, you need to go over there right now, pause this, run over there, check out what he's doing on Instagram, because I don't know how I ran across you, but when I started looking at your Instagram and what you're doing, it was pretty cool. I thought that was really cool to see a young family guy, 3 boys. And,
3 boys, yeah.
Yeah, and building some stuff, man, and getting those boys out there and doing some things. And so I thought, man, I need to bring this guy on the podcast, and we need to talk about this. And then I didn't even know you had a YouTube channel.
Yeah, just started one, yep.
Yeah, and so on your YouTube channel, I started checking some of the stuff out, but you build a DIY packable wood stove, which is super cool.
That thing is pretty sweet, yeah.
So tell me a little bit about Making Traditional. How did that get started?
Sure. So, I've always had a love for archery and the outdoors. I was raised hunting and fishing, and as a DIY guy, I love to make things. So within the last 6 to 7 years, I've kind of transitioned into traditional archery from compound, and before that rifle, kind of like a lot of guys. So I kind of wanted to team those two things together, right? Making and traditional. So that was kind of the brainchild of what Making Traditional is. And then it's not just archery, right? So I like to make things, and more the traditional part is just the trad way, or the trad life is kind of one of my little key phrases, is just kind of back to what's simple.
Yeah, I think the trad life, it's a hashtag that we all put on our pictures and things like that,
right?
But it really means something.
Yeah.
There is a way that we live, and it is getting back to simple things, and those simple things are the important things.
Yep. Family, there's things get complicated in life, right? But as everybody knows, but yeah, just kind of back to the roots. What's our purpose? Why are we here? What is it that we're supposed to be doing to steward the life that we're given? So
right on. Yeah. What's your calling, in other words? Yeah.
Exactly.
I hear you. I'm all about that. And I'm looking at your Instagram right now, and you have 677 followers, but here's the deal, you guys. You guys all need to go over there right now, because this Instagram is exactly, it is what trad life's all about, and all of the arrows and stuff that you put out, and all the kids' smiling faces.
Oh yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing. I have 3 boys. You have 3 boys, and so it kind of struck home with me. But one of the things that I would like to point out is you have a lot of arrows on your Instagram. Do you make arrows?
Oh yeah, I make a lot of arrows. I've been making arrows when I was shooting compound. I'd make my own arrows, and then the love of traditional archery kind of took over. And I mean, wood arrows are way cheaper than carbon arrows, so I can make a lot more of them. So yeah, I built some arrow racks in my garage, and I mean, it's like art to me. I don't get too attached to them because if they break or I lose them, I can just make more. So same goes for my boys. They love it when I make them new arrows, but it doesn't matter what happens to them. I can make more. So
Yeah. So it almost, if you look at your Instagram, you got a bunch there. Are you making arrows commercially or selling them, or is it just your stuff?
Yeah. So I've sold some. I guess the hope and vision would be to be able to start selling them. I mean, I love it, so I don't want to turn my love to a full-time job, but it's definitely a passion of mine.
Right.
I love showing people stuff and teaching people how to do things. So I'll be having some YouTube videos on the actual making of arrows, just because, I mean, it's simple, right? So a lot of people can learn how to do it and find that joy themselves.
Right. No, and we need more of that on YouTube, especially with the wood side of things. I shoot.
Yeah.
I've been shooting carbons. I shot wood for years. Back in the 2000s, that's all I shot was wood arrows, and
Okay.
seemed like I had more knockaround time then than I do now. So
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I think it's because I could do that, and the kids could be along with it and do. Now it seems like I'm strung in so many different directions that I don't get a chance to make wood arrows as much. But
I hear you.
I really need to get back to that. I've made a few bows as well. I've done a few self bows, and I live in an area. And I noticed that you have a lot of self bows that you've made too.
Yeah. I tinker quite a bit. I've broken a lot more than
I hear you.
You break a lot, but every one I make is better than the one before. So that's always really fun.
Yeah. So one of the things, when you talk about making bows, and I've said this 100 times before, is you can make one that's really durable, or you can make one that's really fast. But the guys that are good at this, they make durable, fast bows.
They can find that sweet spot. Yep. And that you can't really learn that on YouTube.
No.
That's definitely a trial and error thing.
Yeah, you gotta blow up a few bows to really do it.
Oh yeah.
I'll never forget. So I live down here in Southern Oregon, and where I live, just about 3 or 4 miles higher than me. You go up and get into the higher country, which is not high for some of you guys, like in Colorado and stuff, but our high country is like 7,000 feet.
Yeah, same here in Washington.
Yeah. Do you guys have you up there? You would?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, so we have it here too, and you gotta go down and get a heritage permit, but you could get
a permit.
A you wood tree a year.
That's pretty good. That's a few staves out of a big tree if you can find one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we got tons of it down here.
That's awesome.
It is. And so back in the day, I got an old YouTube video on a different channel that I put out. Man, I'll have to dig that up, but where we were harvesting and I did build a bow out of it.
No kidding. Oh man, check that out.
Yeah, but we it was one of those bows, and I got it all whittled down. I got it to where I was getting a pretty good tiller out of it. I didn't get hardly any string follow, and
nice.
And I got that bow out and I started shooting it, and man, it was cooking. I mean, it would shoot. And I think I got 50 shots through it, and all of a sudden, it's just,
oh no.
And it was something I didn't even see. It was that, sometimes you get between the sapwood and the heartwood,
there was
separation there.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, that'll get into your blood just as much as hunting or anything else.
It's addicting for sure, and especially following that whole, I'm going to start from the beginning and make everything that gets me to the end. I mean, that's kind of what I always strive to do is let's make it as hard as I can, just because the reward is that much greater at the end.
Yeah, that's a good thing to have boys around.
Yeah, exactly.
Watching Dad go through all that and then see bows blow up, but he still goes after it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially, I mean, nowadays it's pretty easy to look on. You watch a 15-minute YouTube video and someone will build a bow from start to finish, but my boys can actually see, hey, Dad worked on that for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, yeah, and
And it still broke.
I was gonna say, and your reaction when it does break, right?
Yeah.
I
Dang
mean,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know how disappointed you are, but you just go back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Go
huge
get another.
for kids.
Go get another stave. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was pretty lucky. It was probably 5 years ago now. I was surfing on Craigslist and I found a guy who had like 40 used staves that were his uncle's in a barn.
Wow.
They were cut in like the mid '90s, and
Oh, wow.
he gave a few to his neighbors, and I got them all for $40.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Jeez. You just made a
Yeah.
bunch of guys right now go, are you kidding me?
Yeah. So at my family farm, we hosted the Western State Traditional Rendezvous in 2017.
Oh, you did?
And so that was at the Pomeroy farm, which is my wife's family.
Uh-huh.
And we had, there was a bunch of big, famous bulliers. I'll call them famous,
Right.
James Remp and all those guys. So I was passing out U-staves, just like, that was when I was getting started into actually making some bows. And I was like, you guys are going to do way better with this stuff than I am. And it didn't cost me hardly anything. So I was just like, let me see what you can come up with, So everybody got a kick out of that. Hey, there's Brandon, the free you guy.
Yeah. Yeah, you became very popular very quick among those
Yeah,
guys.
exactly.
No, that's cool, man. I didn't know that. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
We need to do more of that here on the West Coast. I'm kicking around going to the Western States Rendezvous. I used to,
Yeah, in Montana. Yeah.
yeah, it's in Montana this year. I used to go to that thing every year when it was in Ontario.
Okay.
And that was back in a long time ago. But yeah, it'd be cool to do something more on the West Coast that's a little bit easier for everybody to get to that lives up and down the West Coast.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I would love to be able to host more shoots. It worked pretty good at our farm. We had, 1,000 people there.
Oh, wow.
We had camping. It was like a 5-day thing. It was great. I had a bunch of vendors there and seminars, and so hopefully someday I can do that again. It'd be cool to start another traditional shoot.
Oh man, that'd be super sweet. There's some going on in Oregon. They're going to shoot this year.
Yeah.
James Orr has been
Oh, yeah.
telling me you need to get there. He's like, you need to get there, and and he's right. I should.
You should come up to the Stick and Sage there in Sisters. That's Central Oregon traditional bowling.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
The problem, okay, so here's some of the problem with some of these shoots is they're all during turkey and bear season.
I hear, yeah.
But this year I didn't draw my bear tag, so
Join the club.
you didn't draw either, huh?
I had 8 points. Washington, we have a preference point system, but it's kind of everybody has the same chance whether you have points or not. But I had 8 points this year and still didn't draw a stick and tag. So.
Well,
I know.
this tag down here, I don't know if you've listened to anything that I've said about spring bear hunting, but I've been telling everybody on the YouTube channel, on podcasts and everything else, get your Oregon spring bear tag and come kill these bears, because we got so many, and our elk herds and deer herds are hurting from it. But
I bet.
But I didn't realize what was really going on there. And then, I got some buddies down here, born and raised. Those guys shoot a lot of bears. And then Chase and Moby, Sage, and those guys shoot a lot of bears. And it's all been out on YouTube and Instagram and stuff. But we couldn't fill the tags. We had so many tags we couldn't get them filled. And then,
wow.
Yeah. And then this year, I guess there's like 1,000 people that didn't get a tag.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess the number of people putting in for it was 37% higher than any other year.
Holy smoke.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully everybody will actually go out and fill those tags.
Exactly.
Not just get them and sit on them.
Yeah, or even just go out and push the bears around a little bit, right? So they disrupt that fawn, because this is the time of year when the bears are in on the fawns.
Stuff's going to start calving and fawning.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was my hope too. So if you're listening to this and you drew one of those spring bear tags, at least get out there and make those bears think twice about eating your fawns.
Yeah, shoot them all. Everything you have a tag for.
Yep, shoot them.
Yeah.
Yep. No, it's pretty interesting when you start talking, about the shoots and this time of year. It's just so hard for me to get out, and all all of the sportsman shows and things like that are going on this time of year, and it's like, guys, there's turkeys and bears to be shot.
I know. Yeah, that most recent little flip tip U bow that I've been working on and posting pictures of, I'm hoping that should be done here this weekend. I got to put a hand wrap on it, and then I'm going to try and harvest a turkey with that this year. So that should be fun.
Right on. Which one is that?
Yeah. It's a U bow that I flipped the tips on.
Oh.
And I've been kind of doing some stories and photos of kind of the build along of it. I'm actually going to, once I get done, I have a bunch of video footage. I'll have a YouTube video I'll post up on
cool.
the start to finish. So that's been a pretty fun project.
And then post a video of you getting a turkey with it.
Yeah. It might be part of the same video. We'll see.
Depends on how that goes, huh?
Depends on how that hunt goes, yeah.
I know how that is, man. You know.
Yeah, it's actually made meat quite a few times though. Even unfinished, I've shot we've got chickens, so we've always got critters trying to get our chickens. So I've got 2 raccoons, a possum, and I shot a mouse with it. So it's got some good stuff going for it. So we'll see if I can keep it going.
Right on. Our raccoons, so we got chickens as well, and our raccoons, and we got foxes that come in.
Oh, no way. Wow.
Yeah, I'm pretty well fox proof for the chickens, but the raccoons, man, those guys are smarter than smart.
They're sneaky, yeah.
Yeah, and they'll climb something where a fox won't. A fox won't climb it.
Sure.
So, but I haven't even thought about maybe hunting them with my bow.
The 2 I got, I saw them down by my chicken coop. I got a big back porch light, and I turned the porch light off, and I actually treed him. I went barking at him and chased him up a tree and got him in the tree. So that was kind of fun.
Oh wow, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
The problem, so we have skunks, a lot of skunks here too, and the problem is I would let my dog just go out when he starts, because he knows when something's around.
Yeah.
And when he starts growling, I just I should just make him run out there and tree whatever.
Tree for you.
But the problem was the last time he did that, I went over there, turned on we got kind of a little deck on the back of our house, and there's a skunk just like 5 feet away from us.
Oh no!
Yeah, that's the last thing I really want to do.
Yeah, you give that arrow up.
No, it'd be pretty interesting though.
Oh no, man. Kidding.
So, are you going to go to any of the shoots this year? Are you going to that one in Sisters?
Yeah, I'll be going to the one in Sisters for sure. We're trying to decide, my wife and I, see if we'll end up going to the Lolo one, the Western States. It's a pretty long. It's a long drive over there. But we'd love to be able to go. I know James and all those guys, big group of guys coming from the west side here, going over there.
Yeah, I know. James has been. He's actually leaving here pretty quick and going hunting down in Hawaii. Did you know that?
I think he was maybe saying, is he doing goats or something there?
Yeah, I don't know. Something down there. He gets a week. He gets a week to hunt, and then his family's coming down there doing another week of vacation, which is awesome.
Man.
Good for him.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good for him. That's cool.
Yeah. Right on.
That's cool. But yeah, so I'll get out to a few shoots.
Yeah. Well, I may. It's 12 hours up to the Western States for us, and I've been already priming my wife. Hey,
there you go. You got to start early.
Yeah. Try to get it in her mind that would be fun.
Yeah.
The 12-hour part she's not into, but
there's lots to do in Lolo. Tons.
And she's actually a traditional person too, so she doesn't mind.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, she doesn't mind
it's a beautiful drive. I mean, we went through there. We go see family in Montana, so I mean, it's a beautiful area.
Yeah. I've not been to that one in years, and it'd be cool just to get around people.
Yeah.
Just this whole traditional bow hunting world is such a good group of people that it's just so much fun to get around them.
Yeah, that's one thing I noticed, when I switched to traditional and started going to trad shoots and stuff. I mean, the people you get to meet and hang around, they're all just down to earth, welcome you in like you've been their friend forever. So that's been really, really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I remember it's kind of funny too, because if I say this, people are going to think, wow, that's kind of strange. But I can remember when I was about your age, we used to go to the trad, the expos here, and you'd meet all these guys like TJ and all the bow makers and all this, and you're like, these are
Yeah.
the guys that you saw in Traditional Bowhunter magazine, and you're like, thought you were starstruck, and it's not at all like that.
Sure.
I started realizing that these guys are just, guys that love to.
Just everyday guys, humble
Yep.
guys, just down to earth. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and when I saw, there's no celebrities really in this thing, and that's
Right.
the way it should stay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But couple of things I was going to talk to you about. Well, I was looking through your Instagram, and I noticed the arrows that you're making. So are the arrows that you make, are they all Port Orford cedar, or what are you using?
Yeah. So I'm using Sherwood shafts.
Okay.
I've met those guys and talked to those guys a bunch, and I love their shafts, and I've been using them for the last 8 years, making my own arrows, and they're straight. I love fur. They're super durable. I miss a lot, so it's good to have a really durable shaft.
That's the reason I shoot. That's the reason I shoot the shafts that I shoot, because I haven't broke one yet.
That's perfect. So yeah, I've had really good luck with them, and Carson, he's taken it over now. Just great guys down there at Sherwood, so I continue to use them, and I love wood shafts. So
yeah, I really need to make some wood arrows.
You better do it. You got to do it.
I know. I'm shooting Alan Boyce's bows, the Liberty.
Oh yeah,
Liberty longbow, and
I like Alan. He's a good guy.
Yeah, and he shoots wood. That's what he shoots.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
I almost feel bad running graphite across those.
At least they probably have a wood wrap on them, don't they?
Yeah. No.
Oh, they don't.
No, I'm shooting grizzly sticks. No.
Okay. Man.
Yeah, I know. I really want to shoot some wood though, and I have some old. I don't know if you've even heard of them before, but Rogue River Archery. Back in the day.
Rogue River Archery. Okay.
Yeah, so back in the day, that was the Port Orford cedar shaft. They go by Wapiti now. But Paula and Cecil owned that, and I used to drive down there all the time and visit with them. And so I got some original Cecil arrows still that he made. And
no kidding.
Oh yeah, they were. Yeah, you talk to some of the old guys. Larry Yin used to use their arrows when he was shooting. He does a competitive shooting and stuff. And Chad. What's his last name? Chad, recurves.com. Anyhow, he shot their arrows for years, and just down to earth people. Anyhow, I used to shoot Port Orford cedar, and they're tapered. They come out of their so they're tapered in the back. Just
like 5/6, tapered down to 5/16 or whatever.
Yep. And just some of the best shafts I've ever shot.
Awesome.
The cool thing about it was they were in Grants Pass, so they were right next to me, so I could just go down there and we could grain weight and spine them right there. I come home with a set that was, out of 12, they were all on,
Yeah. I'd love to go down and watch a shaft made, start to finish. Some of the equipment they have, it's old equipment, but it works. It's awesome.
Yeah. And so Paula, Cecil made he made his shaft machine, and he had a little trigger at the end of it that it would kick the blade over, and it would kick it over, and that's how they would taper them at the end.
Okay.
And when they sold it to Wapiti Archery. Man, if Wapiti ever sells it, I may buy that equipment just to make my own shafts. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Yeah, Rogue River Archery. I don't know how many people are listening to this right now, but back in the day, that was the arrow. They were on par with Rose City.
Okay.
And now Sherwood's out there, and I haven't shot Sherwood, and I really need to shoot Sherwood.
Oh, you need to. Yeah,
those guys are just. I've heard nothing but good stuff about them.
Yeah. That Doug fir is pretty good. It doesn't smell as good as cedar when it breaks, but
I know
it's a good shaft.
That's the only good thing about breaking an arrow.
I know. That's the only good thing about breaking an arrow. Makes good kindling too.
Oh, I don't know if I could. I think when I used to break them out stump shooting, and it's probably not right, but one of our things was we'd always put it in a rotten stump sticking straight up.
Yeah, send it into orbit or stick it into a stump.
Yeah. And that way it was kind of a...
You plan a new one, yeah.
Yeah. And it was kind of a, I don't know, respect thing towards the arrows.
Sure.
what was it? Somebody told me I shot with some old guys. Some of those guys told me they're like they said each Port Orford cedar tree wishes it could grow up to be an arrow.
I believe it too. I know that's the best that it could be. It's either an arrow or a fence post, and I'd rather be an arrow. So.
I'd rather be an arrow. Yeah. So,
oh man.
On your Instagram, you have a bunch of like shoot arrows that you collected. Did you ever make those into arrows?
Yeah. So I'm still working on the YouTube video, but yeah, I've got a bunch of ocean spray. At our farm, we actually have a huge patch, like a half acre of ocean spray. So I go through and I'll cut out shoots and let them dry for a few months, and I've been making those into arrows, which is fun because I do it with my boys, and they get a good time. You know, they have a good time scraping the bark off,
boy,
straightening them, and so yeah, that's been pretty fun. I haven't shot anything with them yet, but I think it'd be really cool to build a set of primitive arrows and use a self bow and shoot something with it. So.
Oh yeah, and then nap your own head.
And then nap my own head. Yeah, I just made a bone arrowhead the other day. I think I put it on there. So that was a fun little project too.
Yeah, I've actually napped. I've done quite a few obsidian heads.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh,
they're all laying in the windows around the house and stuff.
No kidding. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's another one of those things like being a bowyer. You can make a head that looks really good, and you can make one that's sharp. But making one that looks good and sharp, that's the trick.
That's the trick. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's a rabbit hole too, and you start making all these things, and then you don't have time to actually hunt.
Yeah. Well, where we live though, and the stuff that we do, it's a whole lot better than watching TV.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
You know? And
yeah.
My biggest problem is we shot 2 of our elk this year, not probably, as the crow flies, 20 miles away.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's great.
So
I've got to go.
Right in.
I mean, that's awesome.
That's kind of why we moved here.
Right. That's awesome. Yeah, we have elk close. I mean, within 10 miles of the house, but the actual where I hunt, I've got to go 2.5, 3 hours. So.
Yeah, and we do that too. It's not just about shooting an elk. I mean,
no.
Of course, I want to fill my freezer. Of course, I want to eat. But it's more about, really, the hunting part of it is more about the adventure and getting out and seeing new things and being around people. Just as much of elk hunting is the people that you're with.
The camaraderie and everything else. You bet.
Yeah, and
you bet.
And the flow of emotions of, oh my gosh, we've been chasing these things for 3 days.
Yeah.
And we just got to keep with it. And no, it's a good deal. My middle son and then we brought on another guy, David, who has been hunting with us for the last couple of years, and he came out of a family that didn't hunt. So it's been really good to have those young guys keep me young.
yeah, and just share that passion too, and kind of instill in somebody else, and hopefully they'll pass it on to somebody else as well, and keep it going.
Yeah, and and they both hunt with compounds at the moment. Gage was going to switch over to stick last year, and I said, man, you might want to just get your first elk first, and it's all traditional stuff. I mean, we're all shooting. Every shot that we shot was under 30 yards this year.
Yeah, right on.
But to switch right in the middle, like in June would be really hard.
That's tough. Yeah, that's tough. You got to give yourself a full year of prep.
Yeah, and he's been shooting, a lot, quite a bit up here. We're going to put in a 3D course.
Oh, there you go.
At our place, and probably put that on YouTube here pretty quick. But
yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of we're going to break a lot of arrows.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's easy you start shooting wood and you just keep making them. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have to. I mean.
Yeah. You can buy it bulk packs from Sherwood. So you can buy 100 at a time.
Yeah. That's the way to do it too. But we're going to make like iron targets and then.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So.
Those are fun.
It's going to be a good time. It'll be fun.
That's awesome.
Then we'll probably invite people to come shoot it that, well, here's what we're going to do. Is we're going to take shots that everybody knows that they've seen on video, and we're going to recreate that shot.
Okay.
So say, I don't know if you watch Born and Raised at all, but
yeah,
Trent shot that that bull facing him while it was still bugling. So
Okay, yep.
we're going to recreate that, all except for the elk is going to be made out of steel, and if you're going to hit it frontal, it's going to be fatal or nothing.
Okay.
So we're going to
I
make
love
it to where you have to hit in between that, and if you don't hit in between that, if you hit somewhere where it's going to wound the elk,
Tink.
yeah, you're going to break an arrow.
That's awesome.
And then
That's
we're going to invite
awesome.
Trent over to shoot it after we get it done.
See if he can do it again. Yeah.
Yeah.
See if it was actually first take or not. Yeah.
But
that's awesome.
That's part of what we're going to do, and then one of the targets I want to recreate too is have like a bear that's on a zip line. Alan,
so it moves.
Alan's actually the one that told me I should do this, and I got huge rocks on my land, and then where you have to crouch down behind the rock, and then somebody pulls that bear on the zip line past you, so you have to shoot it as it comes across to you.
That'd be sweet.
Just like Fred Bear did in that one video.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we want to do. It's going to be more of a novelty shoot, kind of fun stuff.
Yeah. Is that the one where he's hunting on the coast?
Yeah.
And that big or the big brown bear? Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. And then of course we're going to do one with from a horseback. We got a bucking bronco that you'll have to shoot off of it. So.
Oh, there you go. You got to do I went to a shoot one time and they had a canoe. I wish it was in water, but they had a big moose target, and they had a canoe that you had to stand up in.
That would be
so
sweet.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, no canoes. Yeah, and then you got the whole canoe thing. We got into that too. Yeah, I would love to build one.
Like a cedar strip?
Yeah, because I get in there with my bow and my arrows, and then have Gage in the back rowing. And we actually went duck hunting, tried to duck hunt this year with the canoe, sneaking up on them with our recurve.
Oh, no kidding.
Oh,
Did you have any luck?
Yeah, no. The ducks, the guys that did that, man, they had to know something that we didn't, because we'd get around the corner and those ducks knew we were coming every time. So,
man,
yeah, we got one shot.
That'd be hard.
Yeah, it was hard. It was definitely hard.
That'd be really hard.
I think also though, we went over when there weren't as many ducks on the river.
Okay.
So I think
they're heightened senses because you're the only thing out there moving besides them.
Yeah, and there just wasn't a whole lot of activity. The weather was kind of off, and so we're going to do it again. We're definitely going to do it again, but
yeah, persistence pays off.
Yeah, but it felt weird to be in an aluminum canoe doing that. You're like,
right? Yeah, I mean, cedar strip. There you go, or hollow out a log.
Yeah, hollow out a log.
Real crazy.
Well, in our neck of the woods, that's what they used. The Klamath all had hollow logs. So
yeah,
and they probably hunted ducks like in January or July.
Yeah.
They'd
probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
And probably get a bunch too.
Oh, yeah. And they use skipper arrows too. That was another thing, and I'm going to build one of those. Where you put a ball on the front of it, and if it hits, it just glances like a rock.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I never even thought of that.
Yeah, so if you missed the first bird, there were so many birds back then.
You might skip and get another one.
Right.
I like that.
Right.
Skipper arrow.
Yeah, I think, man, who did one of those? There's somebody on YouTube that did one of those. And he has a YouTube video on it. It's really cool. Look it up, Klamath skipper arrow, and I think it'll come up.
I'll check it out.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, so we pretty much covered what you make. I don't know. I can't say we did because you got so much stuff on here.
I make a lot of stuff.
You do.
It's a lot of fun. I mean, really, living that trad way. If I can make it and not buy it, that's a win for me. It takes longer, but life is a trade of time for life, right? So you're gonna give up your time to live a simpler life, or you're gonna give up money, which requires time to work something else.
Yeah,
that you don't might not be living.
Well, and the cool thing about it too, though, is it sounds like you're taking a lot of time to make this stuff, but it's different, right? It's not like you're stuck in this shed somewhere. None of the kids are around. Your wife's. You're actually everybody's immersed in it. So it's not the same.
Yeah, my wife is super supportive. I mean, my kids love it. My wife will come out and she'll video me on stuff, or she's got a bow and she'll shoot some arrows with us, and it's a family thing, and that's the good way to do it, because if it's just a I mean, for me, I've realized if it's just a hobby of mine, it's a lot more difficult to actually, put the time into it, because then you're pulling away from family, and that never works.
Stuff.
So
Yeah, the important
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things that really kind of struck out on your Instagram was the fact that you made that bow box, and then you had the arrows sitting in there.
Oh, my rugged art. Yeah. I've made a few of those.
That's a cool idea. So how does the bow come in and out of that?
So it just sits on pegs, and I've got it. I've got some, I think one of them I did leather straps, and the other one I did. I think they're both leather straps, just tied in essentially.
That's really cool. That I like functional art.
Yeah. So I've had this guy who met me at our farm. So every spring at the Pomeroy farm, we call it the Country Life Fair. And in 2013, I think, I set up like a bow building booth. So I had like making bows with Brandon, and we'd usually get a few thousand people over a weekend to come through our farm and just kind of see a bunch of vendors. We had a plant sale, but anyway, I had a bow building booth there, and this guy ended up getting my name and number from me there. And a few years later, he's like, "Hey, I met you at the farm. I want to buy a bow for an art piece for a guy." I'm like, "Sure, yeah, I can do that."
Yeah.
So I made a bow and put it in a box and some arrows, and that was actually the second one I built for him. The first one, I think, is farther back on my Instagram, but yeah, it's fun. It turned out really good. A friend of mine does a lot of leather work, and she has a CNC engraver, so she was able to help me out with some of the engraving on the leather. But yeah, it was a fun project.
Yeah. One of the things that we've done this year that we've talked about is getting more and more stuff that you could use if you don't have gas or electricity, right? I mean, I think a lot of people have thought that way. I've always thought that way. I grew up in a little town that we tried to be really self-sufficient.
Yeah.
And we talked about this functional art, because one of the things that we've been talking about is crosscut saws. That's a functional art piece, but yet we need that stuff. I mean, so one of the kids, one of the guys that hunts with us, he went out and bought one, and then we've been falling trees on my land with it just to see how it worked. And I'll tell you what, it's almost
a pretty good job.
Yeah,
I mean, that's how it was pre-motor. Right?
Yeah. And it's almost as fast as a chainsaw. If you're, it's a lot more work, of course, but
sure.
But
the teeth are sharp and they're set right.
Yep.
And it'll zip right through.
Yeah, that's another thing you have to do is figure out how to you better get a setter, if you're going to use your saws, because they're going to get out of set. But
that's an art in itself right there, is, sharpening saws. Think how many people don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
A lot.
and quite honestly, we probably better know how.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah. Yep. At some point we're going to need it. So.
Yeah. Well, and at the same time, it actually right now would be a good time to go play with this stuff.
Before you need it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Just like land nav, I got stuck on doing a lot with all my computer stuff, and which I love. It makes it a lot easier for, I don't have all the time, but guys better start understanding their land nav too, because
think of how many guys look at their phone to see which way north is.
Yeah. I actually don't navigate off of my phone.
That's good.
Yeah, I don't. You don't need to. What I do use it for is scouting, though, finding other spots and then
new spots,
going right into them.
Yeah.
But to navigate, if you know the lay of the land, you could just follow ridges and things like that. If you know.
Follow a creek down because it intersects with this other ridge. Oh yeah, you get there.
And downhill's always going to take you to civilization. I mean, that's just the way it goes.
Yeah, might be a long walk, but you get there eventually.
Especially if you get on like a big knob or a mountain, you could get off on one side of that thing and kill yourself, get yourself 20 miles off. Done it.
I know. I used to be on a volcano rescue team on Mount St. Helens.
Oh, wow.
All the ridges for Mount St. Helens are kind of like a corkscrew. They don't go straight down.
Right.
And so people would get lost a lot because they would follow a ridge top around, which you'd think, if I follow a ridge, I'll go downhill. Well, they would, but they would end up, 5 miles from the trail they came in on.
Right.
And so they would always end up in these little pockets. We'd always know where to find people. But yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah. You know, we hunt. Actually, I hunt a lot of knobs and ridges for that same reason, though, is because if the elk are below me and they're going one direction, I can make time on them.
Yeah,
You
for
know.
sure.
But we also have the same problem because 100 yards up on top of a mountain equates to miles down at the bottom of that thing.
Right.
You know. But yeah, no, it's pretty. That's part of that trad life stuff that we were talking about.
It's a trad life, man. I
Yeah.
tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and even maps and stuff. If a guy knows, if you carry a paper map, of course, shooting azimuths and running them back to where you're at. That's the only way that that's the pinpointing way. But you could still look on that thing and figure out just by
There's a ridge,
topography.
there's a high
Yeah.
spot. That's this. If you can read a topo map, you're doing pretty good. You
Yeah.
can get around.
Oh well, and we should start looking at that a little bit more.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yep. So anyhow, I ask everybody the same question, and I'm going to ask you: what's your favorite animal to hunt?
Oh, that's blacktail deer. I love blacktail. I mean, I love hunting elk too, but Cascade blacktail to me are my goal every year. I see a lot more big ones than I actually shoot, and I get trail camera pictures of some giant bucks, and it's always a game to try and get them every year. And to this day, I have not ever shot a big one, but blacktail deer for sure are my go-to animal.
Yeah.
They're what drive me for sure. I mean, I pick up sheds, every year, blacktail sheds. It's a huge passion of mine. Because elk sheds are cool too, but as far as deer, everyone's different. Everyone's got a little bit more character than the one before. Whereas to me, anyway, an elk, a 6 point's a 6 point. It just depends on how big of a 6 point. And elk are cool too, but black-tail deer for sure are my main critter.
Oh yeah. Okay, so I'm surrounded by blacktail freaks.
Yeah,
That's what because there's something about a blacktail that gets in people. I have
Yeah.
yet to get that. You know what blacktail do to me? They frustrate the living tar out of me.
they're impossible to shoot, but they're there.
Well, so I have quite a few buddies that hunt with compounds, and I'll tell you what. And this year, I don't know, 6 or 7 really good mature blacktail bucks.
That's awesome.
During season, and tried to get pretty close. Matter of fact, I'm sending you one of them right now.
Do it.
But trying to get pretty close, and I could get within 50 yards of a black-tailed buck pretty easily.
Yeah.
But during the rut. This is during the rut. Okay.
Right.
So,
That's when I love to hunt them. Late season, that's where it's at.
but that doesn't do me any good. 20 yards, 25 yards. I'll shoot an elk out a little bit further than that, but I won't shoot a deer because they're so much smaller, the
Right.
vitals. But yeah, they make me they're probably the reason that I am bald.
It's not your 3 boys at all.
No.
No.
Well, yeah, some of that too, but
that was one side. Yeah.
yeah. My kids shot a bigger blacktail buck than I've ever killed, and
That's awesome.
but yeah, we could do a whole podcast on blacktail bucks. I think
Oh
we need
man,
to
that'd
do
be
that.
so cool.
It'd be cool to do get James in here too, because
he's a blacktail
fanatic.
freak also.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Matt Starley, you saw the buck he shot this last year.
oh yeah.
That thing is awesome.
Yeah, well, so I'm around a couple guys here. One of them, where I hunt turkeys on his place, it's the Rafter K. He is a blacktail fanatic, and they got some huge deer hanging up in there. His daughter killed 140 some odd inch blacktail.
Holy smokes!
Yeah, no, it's 150. And we're not about the inches.
Inches, sure, but
that's just a way to tell you what kind it is, Yeah.
Yeah.
But and then he's got, I don't know, on the cameras. I'm gonna send you a bunch of stuff. I didn't realize you were a blacktail fanatic.
Oh man, blacktail all the way.
Yeah, we should get James. James hunts the same kind of area that we do, and
Okay.
yeah, we should. maybe we should do something like that next year.
That'd be fun.
Figure out
That'd be fun.
yeah, yeah. That would be a really good time. But and then Thanksgiving Day, I had my brother-in-law up, and he was like, "Ah, man, I'm not finding any bucks anywhere." And I said, "Well, go here. I've been seeing bucks all week in there, and sorry about that. And I've been seeing bucks all week in there, and you need to get up there." So he goes up the next day and kills just a dinger of a buck.
No kidding.
Yeah, I was in there at the same time. I didn't know that he was up there, or else I would have come down and helped him out. But yeah, he killed a dinger of a buck in there.
Oh, that's so cool.
And then David Fincher, who's part of our crew now, the guy, the kid that we brought in, he was part of my youth group. Actually, I used to have a youth group at a church, but he was part of the youth group, and now he's a young man. And anyhow, he killed his first deer in there, his first animal by himself this year in there. So
sweet.
Yeah.
You guys hunting from stands or from the ground?
No,
or what are you doing?
No, hunting from the ground. And
oh, that's so great.
Yeah. Well, that's the reason I haven't killed one yet. If I sit in a stand, I know where they are. I'm so horrible. That's why I'm a good elk hunter, though, is because I get impatient, so I'm going to run them down.
So you're going to move, run them down.
Yeah,
exactly.
Elk handle that. They want that, and deer, man. Oh, it's just so hard.
Yeah. So for the last 8 years, I've hunted this same spot, and I know there's giant bucks there. My cameras show they're there. They're there 2 hours before I get there and an hour after I leave every time. And I got to mix it up because I can't kill them. They're just not killable. I've seen a few sitting in my stand, and I had one just giant at like 28 yards for like 15 minutes one day, and that's too far for me. And it was awesome to watch. The biggest deer I've ever seen on the hoof.
Yeah.
But it was something else for sure.
Yeah. I've rattled 2 in my lifetime.
Okay.
One of them
was a hog. You have
pretty
good luck with that?
I haven't had a ton.
Okay.
Do you know Jerry Goins? Have you ever heard of Jerry Goins?
Yeah.
He's rattled in quite a few, and he's killed a lot of blacktails.
And
he tells me that, just keep after it, but it's another one of those things. He'll rattle and then he'll sit and wait on it. And I guess that's something with deer. See, I'm used to bulls. If bulls don't respond, man, they're going the other direction. They just don't care.
Yeah, you're going to go find a different bull that wants to play.
Yeah, but Jerry says that those blacktails will make a big circle and they'll go, okay, I'll go over and check that out, and I think it's true because I have sat in stands before where I could see for a long ways, and I've called some big bucks in, but I use those doe calls, those can calls,
little can calls,
yeah, and I had couple little bucks that I could see far off, and I'd hit that can call, and they'd start walking your way, and then you wouldn't hit it again for a while, and then they're like squirrel, and they go off in a different direction,
meander somewhere else,
and then you'd hit it again, and they'd be like, "Oh, I'm gonna go back over there." So, yeah, and so I think there's a lot more of that than we know that goes on out there, and I know I've scared a lot of deer off after I've rattled and I left.
Yeah, stand up and get up and move, and they were on their way in. Yeah,
yeah, I could hear them going out, so I know they weren't there when I walked in.
Sure.
So if I would just plant my butt in a stand, I'd kill a really nice buck. I have the opportunity. People have let me sit on their place, which backs up to the best BLM, and it's landlocked, which kind of is hard.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Ugh. Yeah, and it's all winter ground, so they're getting in there that time of year. And so if I would just plant myself, well, that tree that we have the tree stand in, the landowner, I think, has shot a deer out there every year since we put that tree stand up.
No kidding.
Yeah. And I just haven't. He keeps telling me, just sit up there and be patient.
You got to do it. You got to do it at least once.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I mean, from the ground is a whole different game. And that would be awesome.
Blacktails are just, man, they're like turkeys with noses.
I know.
There's no other way. There is no other way to describe them. They are probably the hardest animal I think they're the hardest animal to hunt in North America.
I believe it. They're super jumpy. They are in always super thick brush. I mean, down there you guys have a lot of oaks, which is kind of where I like to hunt. I hunt at the high Cascades or on the east slope, and so I like to play in those oaks and stuff too. But yeah, they're an awesome animal for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I'll send you some pictures, man. I didn't realize because James, I tried to send him all these pictures too. But yeah, no, it's awesome to have you on here. I think we're gonna probably jump off and let you get going back up there. I know you had to drive down the hill, so I thought I'd let you get back to the family and
back to the farm. Yeah, hey, I appreciate the opportunity. This was fun.
Yeah, we're gonna have to jump on here and do a blacktail thing, though.
Dude, that'd be great.
Yeah, and I'll be totally the guy that doesn't have a whole lot to add to the conversation. If you want to see blacktail butts running away from you, I'm really good at that.
You're the guy.
Yep, I'm the guy for that.
Yeah,
but
you're the guy, aren't we all though? Aren't we all?
But yeah. So everybody, if you're listening to this, you need to go over. You really need to go check out making trad, right? Making traditional.
Making traditional. Yeah.
Yep. You really need to go check out Making Traditional and the YouTube channel. I hope there's more coming, man, because
there will be for sure.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It needs to come out. That's the kind of stuff that we need to put on social medias, that kind of thing.
I appreciate it.
Really good traditional type living stuff, and and if I could give you a little bit of advice, is people want to see, even if you guys can and do things like that, do that on your YouTube channel. People need to see that. So
everybody needs to pitch in, because I mean, it's cool to see. It's cool to see, how differently you can live your life than what social media currently shows you can.
Right. Or just what people are trying to push. That
exactly.
whole push. So, so keep putting it out there. I guess I'm just trying to encourage you. Keep putting it out there. We love it. I'd love to see it. And yeah, that's what we need to go out. We got some great people in this community though that are putting good stuff, good quality information, and good wholesome values. Putting it out, and we just need to continue to do that. I think it's a
amen to that.
Yep. All right, man. Well, thanks for coming on. We'll definitely gonna have to get you back on here.
Appreciate it, Nate. Take care.
All right, take care. Thanks for joining us for another installment of the Barebow Hunter podcast. Remember, we couldn't even be talking about this stuff if it wasn't for our public land. So go and support the people that are protecting it. Backcountry Hunters and Anglers and TRCP. Also, if you'd like to see more of Barebow Hunters, go to our Facebook group. Go to our Instagram at Barebow Hunters. Like us and hashtag all of your photos with your barebow goodness in them. Barebow Hunter. We have a website as well. You can go over there, check out the rest of the podcast. We have videos, we have t-shirts and hats. Thanks again. Until then, shoot straight.